Good morning and sliding in the afternoon. Seems like a little hiccup there. It's because Facebook still has its live video is starting, so it acts like it's not even starting yet. So I don't know. I'm not the techie, but Judy Allen here in San Antonio, Texas, also known as Nana, and it is a totally beautiful day today. High humidity though, and it's supposed to get to 98 degrees with 101 tomorrow. So how's that for weather? So today we are doing alternative 2 from our April, I always have to think about it, April paper pumpkin kit. Change is beautiful. And today what we're going to do is phase 1 of making home decor or a scrapbook page, whichever you want to do. But we're going to do at least phase 1 because we're going to do some cutting, some arranging, and setting up some paper and everything else. So we can do part of it today and we'll finish it up next week. How does that sound? So with that, let's go down the hands, and if you're out there, say hello, or if you do a replay, say hello. End of the month, we always do the drawings, but it's always nice to know you're out there. And if you enjoy it, please share. We're here on not only Facebook, but we're also on YouTube and Instagram. So if you can't find what you're looking for here on Facebook, we always post our photos and everything on Instagram, all right? And we have a YouTube video as well. So with that, let's get down to those hands and get started. Okay, so what we have here is, this is from the kit. This is what we've already made, and I've just taken some of this out just to show you. So this is what we're going to be working with, all right? And this is the other side of it, so we can use either or, right? So I'm going to put the instructions because we're not using instructions, and we're not going to really use this yet today, but we will on phase 2. Okay, so I wanted to show you what we have here. So this is, we're going to be using an envelope, and I'm going to set that aside, and we are going to be using this as well too. So we're going to use one on this side, and we'll use this one on the other side, so I'm going to set this aside. And then I also have some coordinating cardstock, and I just want to show you how well that coordinates together, and we're going to be using this. And then I also have some different cardstocks that I pulled out to do a 12 by 12. And I just wanted to show you, everybody thinks, I usually, when I'm dealing with fabric or even cardstock, I'll say, well, I ran out of yellow, so I'll go grab another yellow. So like this one is the one I really love and want to use. And this is called Daffodil Delight, and you can see how that looks. But then I don't have a 12 by 12, so that means I'm going to have to go to another color, right? So, hello, Jennifer. So here's another yellow, and this is So Saffron. And then we have, looks like a darker, richer yellow, and this is Crushed Curry. And then here's one that has also looks sort of yellow, but it's a little kind of orange in it, right? And this is Mango Melody. So I just wanted to show you. So for me, lots of times I think, well, I'll just go grab another yellow. Well, not every yellow works, right? This one works for me. This one really works for me, but I don't have a 12 by 12. This one, it would work very well. I just don't want mine quite this dark, but it's a beautiful color combination. I might change my mind. I'm leaving the options open. And this one is just way out for me, so that one gets tossed, all right? Toss that away. But you know what? I'm going to still hold on to this as an option. You might point out to me what you like, because I'm going to make mine into either just a photo for an 8.5 by 11, or else I'm going to just do a full scrapbook page. So I have choices between this. Now that I showed you this, I might like this. I'm not sure. This morning when I just got up and so sunshiny, I wanted bright yellow, which is this right here. Okay, so I don't have to finish this all up right now. Main thing I want to do is at least get started so I can still change my mind. You'll have to let me know which yellow you like the best and see what we do from there. So what I'm going to do here is, this is already, you can see this is already scored, okay? And this one's also scored too. If you looked on the back here, you'll see the score lines. It's just how the cards came. They scored them so that we can make a nice fun Z-fold. I am just going to come and we're going to cut on this score line, okay? And then, I think I'll do it over here because I can see it better, right? So I think you can see me out. We're just going to cut on the score line here. right, the card already came. And we're going to take advantage of what they've already done, right? And I'm going to come this score line right here too. Alright, now we're going to do some more cutting there. But while we're still cutting this cardstock here, I want to set this aside. I want to go ahead and cut the other stuff too, okay? And then we'll go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one here. That's it we're going to most probably use. I'm just going to cut on the score line so we can see it. And set it aside because we're not going to do it right now, but we're going to use it. And we're going to use this envelope too. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to, these are the simpler things. I'm just going to cut off the edges. And this just helps us get ready for phase 2, right? I can just as easily flip it over this way so you can see it. And I could have just easily waited to the end to do this, but I thought I got my simple cutting going on right here. So let me just get the simple cutting going. Alright? So this is something we'll use as background. And again, it's just from the envelope, right? So I'm going to set that aside. Alright, so if you look at this here, these are already cut. And I could use my paper here to measure it, but I can also use it here. And it's at 2.5 inches. This one is at, looks about 2.5 inches too. So you know what? I'm going to come along here and I am just going to see what 2.5 inches look like here. And it looks like it'll be just fine. You know, keep everything looking about the same. Yeah, see I didn't cut it. There you go. I got that there. And then this one will just be a little bit larger. Okay? I'm going to put the flower. I'm going to end up putting the flower here that was in the die cuts already. That'll go right up here. We're not going to do that right now, but just to give you an idea where I am headed. Now, the next step we're going to do, so we're going to take these pieces and we're going to slice them down. And I actually got this idea from another demonstrator that did this, and I thought it was way too cool. And that is, I'm just going to size it down. So, we already know, when we look and see, we'll use this for something. Look at that. I can use that for a photo or something. Okay, so we're going to stagger these up. Okay, so just as they did stagger them up on the cardstock, and I can show you again how that looked. I can possibly see how they did it here. But they just had a lot of the black and white. I'm just trimming some of that black and white off. We're still going to use it. Let's see, let me go back. I see I did this at, what it is at, 1 3/4. So you know what? I'm just going to take it up 1/2 inch. Is that right? 1, 2, would that be a quarter? It's 1.5. Yeah, that's 1 3/4 actually is what that is. So there's a quarter, there's a quarter. So I'm going to go to 2 1/4 here. All right. So I'm just going to make. See if we're going to like that. Yeah. So see, it just gives it enough staggered height. So we're going to make this. We're just taking it up. Now I have to take in my flower. All right. Let's just take it up a little bit more because I don't want to cut my flower. I want to give my flower a little slack there. Okay, so I have the right to change my mind. So I'm going to go to 2 3/4. Alright, so you see how it's shaping up. So I'm going to have this here, and I'll have this here. Now I'm going to take this one here, and I'm going to stagger it up too. Alright, so I'm going to stagger it up. So I went to this height here. So I'm going to stagger it up, most probably about the same height that I did there as well too, because I'll get a little bit of height above each of the flower growth, right? Because it's changing, so we're sort of changing the height too. So this one here I had, you can see on this side here, there's the halfway mark. So I allowed about 1/2 inch. So I am going to allow 1/2 inch, and I'm just sort of going to guess above this flower piece here. Because this flower piece looks like it's about at 1 inch. So if I just move this down on this left side here to the 1/2 inch mark, it's going to give me what I'm looking for. Okay? So, give you an idea how we're going and flowing. I'll take it off of here now because I think we're pretty much gone there. So, if we put it on the yellow, this is how we're starting to look. It'll go here. It'll go here. It'll go here, And this is why you need an 8 by 12, okay? Because that way all these pieces would fit beautifully on the 8 by 12. So that means we're going to have to swap out, right? Okay. So 8.5 by 11, if I really want to do that, I'd have to size that last piece down, but I don't want to do that. So that it helps you sit there and sort of decide where you're going to end up landing, right? Okay, so we're going to swap over here. So here we go. And I like this because it's sort of, because you know you sat there and kept the base and the leaves and you cut it right here, it gives you the whole stained glass effect, right? Gives you that sort of look. So you can see it all where it goes connected, but we just got a little bit in between. So we can just move this just a little bit here. And we'll just keep on moving. And moving and moving. And there. And we'll get it right here. So I don't know. I don't know. Jennifer, I'm not sure if you're out there still or anybody else. But what do you think? What do you think about the fact that whether we use the So Saffron or if we should go a little bit darker with that crushed curry? Because, you know, this morning I wanted the bright yellow, but I don't have a 12 by 12 of bright yellow, the Daffodil Delight. So that means I'm going to have to come up with another decision. So I don't know. What do you think? Either it's going to be So Saffron or it's going to be crushed curry. One or the other. Because what we're going to do next is, I told you we have this other color here, and it'll go good with this, and it'll go good with the crushed curry. Okay, you like this color here. Alright, so we're going to go with this color here. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this and we're going to distress it. And that's why I told you in there we're going to sort of distress this. And you know, look, it's going to tear. And it's just going to give it a little bit different look. But it's going to give it sort of a grassy look. And I'm not really worried about it curving and curling right now. Because when I get ready to put it down and put adhesive on it, it's going to stay, right? But it's curling right now. But see, I'm just going to give it a look down here that I can actually just sort of offset this a little. Now when I do this, I have choices. I can either make it all the way to the bottom, which I think I will. And then it'll be this right here. And just see how it just sort of gives it a nice grassy, I don't know, outdoorsy look to it. Almost looks like grass or shrubs or something there. But it's just sort of something nice and different, alright? So for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put some adhesive on the very bottom here. I'm not going to worry about all this up here because I want to be able to tuck these in here. So let me just sort of get that curliness out. I'm just going to use it with my hands, okay? That's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to sort of flatten out. Want it to curve on me. Let's go ahead and get some adhesive on here. You know, we can have choices too. I'm just going to put it on the, you know what, let me use glue instead. Or I should say, let me do what I normally do with scrapbooking, and that is I use repositionable because I have choices, right? If I do it and I need to reposition it, I can. And not only that, I can put stuff underneath or on top as well. So I usually just use repositionable glue like this when I'm going to do scrapbooking and all, because, you know, I change my mind sometimes and I want to be able to have that flexibility, especially when I know I'm going to either make this into, but at this point with a 12 by 12 it would either go into a shadow box or a scrapbook, right? Or I could put it into a 12, well, if I put it in a 12 by 12 frame, you're pretty much making a shadow box, right? And I'm just making sure I line my edges up good because that's what I want. I just want to line it with my edges. Okay, there we go. Alright, now I'm going to come and see about putting these down. And I'm going to put them right back in position where I wanted them. And I'm going to do the same thing. And if I have to come back and use glue on this, I will. But for the moment, I still want the opportunity to sit up there and be able to use, I shouldn't say use, but be able to move things around, right? Because I'm trying to think which princess is going to go in there, or if something else is going to go in here. Alright, so that looks about even to me. Okay, I try to get them like evenly done. So then I just come and do the same thing. Alright. We'll get these anchored down. Because I already know from those pieces I showed you earlier that we cut from the envelope and all, those are the mats we're going to use for photos, right? Or it might be that I'm going to put some kind of saying message. You know, I love putting a message to my children or my grandchildren. If we were making cards, we'd call it putting a sentiment, right? So it's a loving sentiment, and maybe it is something they inspired you with. But this whole change is beautiful. It could go to anybody because you think of them as a child and they grow. And it's always fascinating. Just like the caterpillar going to a cocoon and turning a butterfly, children and people are the same way. And it could be an adult as well too. You know, that they just blossom. They start at one spot and they just blossom. So it's just inspirational. So that's what it's about, right? It's about creating, sharing, giving, you know, and how can we inspire others? So that's what we're working on. And that's what we're working on. Okay. All right, now I'm just going to tuck this right down here. You know, what I love about this and doing this here is doing it in a phase 1 and 2. It's something that anybody can sit down and spend just a little bit of time, get it together, and get it started, right? Now, the one thing I'm just going to go ahead and add while we're right here, my hands are sticky with that, is we're going to go ahead and at least add this flower, okay? Because I already know this flower is going here, right? Because it's just growing and growing and growing. And because this is going to be on a shadow box or a scrapbook page, I'm going to leave this flat. And I'm going to go ahead and use some adhesive on this because I'm knowing this is like staying, right? We're going from starting from a seedling, blossoming up to a full-blown flower. You know, I can think of some people in my life that I watch them blossom and grow into the lovely adults that they are today. Okay, so we did let it cross over a little bit, and I think that's great. Okay, so just to give you some ideas then, so we finished with this right here. But just to show you where we're headed, here are some of our options that we'll be looking at, okay? And we have this as an option too. So you will have to stay tuned and watch out and see what we're going to do next week for phase 2 to finish this off. Because Nana wants to teach you how to do simple things that we can easily do. And this is one we can easily do in 15-20 minutes doing phase 1 and then come back and do phase 2 and hopefully have a photo or two to go with it. What do you think? All right. With that, have a blessed week. We're going to be busy tomorrow with our retreat. Go out there, create something, share, and give, all right? So be blessed. See you next week with Teach Me Nana. And we'll do phase 2 of our Changes Beautiful scrapbook page or whatever you want to make it into for your wall or whatever. All right? Bye.